his head a one-time shake, and I know that's it for the discussion. I can perform a somersault in the air, and he won't change his mind. It was easier to handle him when Michael was around. Now that he's gone, I can't bring up Michael to convince him to comply with my wishes. God, Ace, whatever. You'll have to deal with the client's disappointment for not having my dick tonight. I start to stand and head for the door, but someone opens it ever so slowly. My eyes grow large in satisfaction as I start studying the blonde hottie who smiles at me and steps into the office. Hi. Her voice comes out squeaky as she darts her eyes between Ace and me, then her jaw drops. Oh my God. Zane Hawkins? Is that you? Don't tell me you work here. I give her my $1 million grin along with a flirty wink as I hold out my hand to shake. Mackenzie Richmond. Must be my lucky day. I'm finally graced with the honor to make your acquaintance. Gripping her hand, I lift it up to my lips and watch her squirm and blush with the brush of my lips on the tender skin of her knuckles. Mackenzie is the one and only daughter of 4-time Grammy Award-winning singer Levi Richmond. Just like her father, Mackenzie has made a name for herself with her wild parties, drug consumption, and, of course, her sexual adventures with multiple lovers. It was only a matter of time until she found her way to pleasure extraordinaire to satisfy her wild urges. Her youthfulness and energy shine through the strapless red super mini dress that's tightly hugging her lean body. She must be on a strict diet of champagne and meth to keep her skinny looks. Bless the heart of the plastic surgeon who upgraded her boobs because they're large and perky without the support of a bra. Flicking her long hair over her shoulder, she sizes me up from head to toe without any attempt to hide her obvious assessment and smiles. A sign she's appreciative of what she sees. Her tongue brushes her lipstick-coated lips. She slips her hand out of my hold and walks toward Ace's desk. I assume you're Ace Hawkins. I cover my mouth casually to hold back a laugh. My poor brother is the only Hawkins whose face doesn't get instant recognition, and rightly so because he's not a real Hawkins. Ace welcomes her curtly and glances at the screen on his desk to retrieve Mackenzie's application data. It usually takes a few weeks to process the application for a new client, but due to your circumstances and medical records providing the lack of STDs, we can expedite your application and reserve you an afternoon or a night with one of my employees. I'm curious about her special circumstances, but it's not my place to ask. I'm here only to give pleasure without any questions or prejudices. Another question that begs an immediate answer is why she's here. She's young, beautiful, and independently wealthy, and as far as I know, she doesn't have a husband or a fiancé to hide her sexual adventures from. Aside from her need to be fucked well, I don't see why she should be paying money to get sex. I heard great things about JJ, she says, grinning and gives me a sideways glance, but now I'm undecided. You can have them both, simultaneously or at different times, as long as they're on board with your wishes, Ace explains. I don't think JJ will decline her as long as she satisfied his need for money. He claims he doesn't care about money, but he charges the most. And he lives here and never eats out. I haven't seen him even ordering pizza from outside. For all I know, every cent he's earning goes right into his bank account. Simultaneously, of course, Mackenzie chirps with extra excitement and leans against the desk, pointing her index finger towards Ace's face. And I want you in the mix, too. Ace stills for a moment, a shadow of insult crossing his face. Thanks for your interest, but I don't play. Oh, that's unfair. You shouldn't look so damn sexy. Mackenzie pouts and leans forward, possibly in an effort to showcase her wide chest. Ace blinks a few times, looking discomfited by the abundance generously displayed right before his nose. I'm sorry. I laugh and move forward to stand beside Mackenzie to direct her attention back to me. His girlfriend has a tight leash on him, if you know what I mean. Mackenzie laughs loudly at my joke and turns her body towards me, running her gaze from my chest down to my crotch. God, this girl has no shame. I don't like being turned down. Stepping closer to me, she circles her long fingers around my tie, pulling it and me against her body. How about just watching without playing? She cranes her head to glance at Ace, her expression expectant. Please? You'll watch it anyway. Through the surveillance cameras. Why not allow her to play in your office? I asked to convince Ace and to finally start the action. My cock is already semi-hard and wants to get wet inside a tight hole, preferably Mackenzie's eager pussy. Ace glares at me, looking angry as if he's trying hard not to burst out at me. The door opens after a quick knock on it, and JJ enters as always without wearing anything above the waist. That too must be one of his tricks to save money. Well, hello. JJ walks directly towards Mackenzie without paying any attention to Ace or me, grabs her hand and pulls her, not so gently, against his muscled body. Mackenzie reacts only with a soft whimper and throws her body into his arms, hugging him as if they're old friends. Oh my, are you for real? She stares at him for long moments, rubbing her lips against each other with a hint of hunger. Only cougars who have been abandoned for several years show their craving for male attention so obviously. This girl must have real daddy issues to be behaving so sexually. I want all three of you. I don't care about the money. I'll pay whatever it takes. I can't. Ace insists, the killjoy. Not even for watching? She asked. She's as adamant as Ace. I'm very close to reminding Ace of his earlier talk about customer satisfaction. Without waiting for Ace's answer, Mackenzie pulls JJ's head down and plasters her lips against his, and for me, she rolls the hem of her dress up to her waist to show me her bare ass. No panties. I should have guessed that dress wouldn't allow any underwear. And no tan lines. She likes sunbathing commando. That's hot. My cock thickens immediately at the sight of the hard globes of her ass cheeks. My feet automatically walking toward them. My hands positioned and ready to grope them. She moans and pushes her ass back when I cup each cheek, squeezing them. JJ quickly lowers the top of her dress and grabs her breast. I have a suspicion that no one has filled her in about the debauchery that goes on within the four walls of the Pleasure Extraordinaire Mansion and the intense competition we, the PE men, get into to satisfy our urges. We might have gone through a long and extensive training on women's sexual pleasure, but we all know that true pleasure comes from the satisfaction of our own selfish desires. Words lose meaning when we're thrown in with fresh flesh. Our minds shut off instantly. The beast mode is on. We rely on our senses, the smell of arousal, the pitch of moans, the heightened body heat, droplets of perspiration, back arching, nipples peeking, thighs squeezing against each other, pussy swelling. No talking for us, no thinking, just acting and fucking. And it all comes automatically. Her dress hits the floor and she's stark naked before us, save for her black high heels. She might have initially thought she had some say in our play, but right now, the only thing she has control over is her own breathing. And even that comes to a sudden halt every now and then, when I or JJ hit an especially sweet spot. I splay my hand on her back and push her down exactly at the same time JJ unbuttons his jeans and releases his erection and forces it into her mouth. His fingers thread through her hair, his hands covering her head like a hat. She couldn't get away even if she wanted. Not that there's a woman in existence who'd willingly abandon the wild peaks of pleasure that are about to come. I hear her gagging, but soon her head bobs up and down rhythmically against JJ's crotch. I run my hand down the crack of her ass and pause at her clit. I can practically feel it throb against the pad of my thumb. One gentle rub followed by another and her legs are already wobbly. I stop, cutting out her pleasure, and listen to her wordless complaint through her moans, smiling to myself in satisfaction. The evidence of her arousal is leaking, soaking my fingers. I move my thumb between the lips of her pussy, and she lifts her ass higher in the air, opening up her love channel, like it wants to catch my finger. She moans, aching, desire palpable in her voice. My cock twitches, its desire to invade and conquer too big to control. I slip a finger into her opening to probe her pussy and test the waters before dipping my cock literally in her case as the waters are streaming generously down her pussy. A visible shiver runs through her body from inside out as I inch my fingers deeper, rubbing around to find her weak spot. Her body reveals to me the answer by stilling when I hit a tight knot in the depths of her hungry pussy. Smiling, I start massaging it, gently at first and then harder when her legs begin shaking. She rides my finger while expertly sucking JJ's cock. I continue stroking her through her convulsions and whimpers without giving her a break. One orgasm ends while another starts, and those just with my fingers. At some point when I lose count of her orgasms, I finally give in to my cock's desire and release it. Its head finds her pussy without any direction from my hand. Smart, huh? I hold the shaft nonetheless and thrust into her. She squeaks in surprise. My cock is exploring the depths of her pussy with her juices as my only shield. Now that's much better than using a condom. Bearing my cock in front of Ace or any other man has never been a reason for my concern. But Ace looks troubled and can't keep his eyes on the wild action taking place right before his face. Why in God's name did he open a brothel if he can't watch a good quality live porn? I pump and ride her as she struggles to keep the rhythm of her blowjob. My eyelids feel heavy, my body fully attuned to hers. I nearly miss the door opening. JJ's body covers whoever it is that's standing in the doorway, but I can tell it's an unwelcome guest because Ace shoots up to his feet in a heartbeat and dashes around his desk. "Lindsay!" he yells. Cocking my head to the side, I glance at the silhouette behind JJ just to confirm my suspicion. Oh well. Ace had his reason to look uncomfortable with our play, and that reason has a name. Lindsay friggin' Doheny. What is going on here? Her face contorted with horror and shock. Lindsay stares at Ace without blinking or moving. Ace mirrors her, looking equally shocked, but there's also something else beneath that expression, and that's the look of shame for hurting someone who cares. Ace is probably the last man on earth I should be jealous of, but right now I'd kill to have that look of embarrassment. I'd kill to have someone caring for me enough to get mad at me. I've been so occupied with my plans of overthrowing Michael that I've been able to overlook the excruciating pain in my chest, the pain of loneliness and solitude. I couldn't even take a moment to grieve after my mother's death. Michael got me so worked up. But now he's gone. He can't abuse me or my sister anymore. Now I can live and feel. But rather than happiness and freedom, all I feel is isolation. Lindsay's eyes find me, shocked and terrified by the sight, stopping the world around me with one direct stare, and suddenly all I can see is myself through the lenses of her eyes. The sight is horrible, to say the least. Me giving it to a total stranger while she's gulping another man's dick in the middle of an office. No emotions or words of endearment involved. No loving caresses, no kissing. Why did I think there's pleasure in this messed up fake performance? How can I get any satisfaction out of such a degrading act that doesn't even involve a simple kiss? What person, man, or woman in their right mind would give a shit about me when I keep acting like an untamed animal? Wincing at me, Lindsay lets out a shrill cry and spins on her heels, disappearing as quickly as she appeared. Not wanting to continue this charade, I slide out of Mackenzie and stride out of Ace's office, feeling dirty and belittled for the first time after many months of service at Pleasure Extraordinaire. And all it took was an unexpected confrontation by Lindsay. Okay. I really enjoyed that chapter. It was super long, much long. It was pretty much the same length of 1 and 2. I will be back. I